you don't have a home. My house, you know, where I used to live is completely destroyed. Everything is gone.
Remembering the Haitian earthquake.
It's easier to play singles. When I play doubles, I gotta get used to the doubles lines and not covering the whole court. So I like singles better.
And another Williams on the tennis court. Next on Black Nouveau.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Black Nouveau. I'm Milton Dockery.
And I'm Faithe. We're glad that you could join us. On this edition, we'll talk with three people whose lives were changed by the Haitian earthquake.
We've got an update on Tommy Walls, Milwaukee's 2010 Boys and Girls Club Youth of the Year. And we'll preview the Sisters Network third annual Gift for Life Block Walk.
But first, we're going to court, the tennis court that is, to meet Tiana Williams, a 13-year-old tennis sensation. She is not related to Venus or Serena, but for her, tennis is a family affair. We first met Tiana this past summer at the 2010 U.S. Youth Games. The 13-year-old was the torchbearer for the games, and she helped the Milwaukee team win the tennis tournament. For Tiana, tennis is a family affair.
In the 90s, I started a tennis career myself. She has an older brother who's 20, and he plays as well. He's currently on the pro circuit, on the future circuit. And she was just a little girl watching me and my son play constantly. And every now and again she'd come on the court, and from that point she's been always on the tennis court.
Tiana, when did you start playing tennis?
Since I was 2.
What about the game of tennis did you like at the age of 2?
Hitting tennis balls and running around, chasing them. I wanted to play tennis tournaments, but I was like too young and a little short, so I had to get older, get stronger, learn how to get the strategy of playing tennis.
It was about my son. He was 7 years her senior, and it was him and national tournaments, and all of a sudden this little bitty girl just get out there, and she just showed that she was listening. He may not have been listening, but she was. And when her chance came, she just exploded. Just completely blew me and my wife and everybody away. Just unbelievable how aggressively she can play the game, how smart she was, and how badly she wanted to win. And 7, she broke in on the national stage, and it was unbelievable. At 7, she plays a circuit for kids, 11 and under. It's called Little Mo National. Little Mo is a famous female tennis player who's played and won a lot of Grand Slams. She died early in life. But anyway, her daughter had this huge national tournament, 2-part circuit, 3-part circuit, sectionals, regionals, and nationals. Well, she did well at sectionals. She got like 2nd place. In the regionals, she got 3rd place. And then she went to nationals where she was the smallest. And she was not ranked, and all these other girls from all across the country. And she got 4th place. She went through seeds, and she just was so impressive.
You play singles and doubles?
Yes.
Which do you prefer?
Singles.
Why?
It's easier to play singles because when I play doubles, I get confused sometimes. Like I would hit the ball in the court, and I got to get used to the doubles lines and not covering the whole court. So I like singles better because it just relies on me and not another person.
Really good. Forehand volley. Shot.
Her father is also her coach.
Clean strokes.
I started to play pro tennis, but I had to make a decision of whether or not I was going to be a father or I was going to be a tennis player. I chose to be a father instead of a tennis player because there's lots of tennis players, but not that many fathers. So that's kind of my retrospect of giving up tennis for my children.
The family is originally from Chicago, but moved to Milwaukee a few years ago.
It's a different pace from Chicago. I was looking for a slower pace. By profession, I'm a real estate broker, and I was looking to come here and do some developing further west. We just stopped here because in the 90s, like 93, I moved up here for a while to do some research. Just a nice place, an excellent place, a nice family place, slower pace and manageable.
Tiana is homeschooled. It is a family practice that started with her brother, Renell.
I'm looking for something more from my kids' education. Looked at the different curriculums in different schools and decided that we should homeschool to see what is it to homeschooling versus regular school.
She enjoys the things most young girls do, but she is determined to become a tennis star. Which of the tennis slams do you want to win most, and why?
Wimbledon.
Wimbledon.
Yeah, it's like the first Grand Slam that introduced all the rest of them. It's the best one. You get to meet the queen of Wimbledon.
Tiana loves tennis. She hoped to really do well in tennis. And that's roughly it. If you work really hard at something, you can really achieve it.
On January 12, 2010, the earthquake in Haiti killed over 200,000 people and destroyed approximately 1 million homes, including that of singer James Trazile. Through his music, Trazile wants people to remember that the Haitian people are still in need of help. Liddy Collins has more.
Can you imagine? Some people go days without eating, some people go days without seeing. Someone to say, my friend, I care for you.
This is the Holy Yours Band, rehearsing in Sheboygan, Wisconsin on the campus of Lakeland College. This band has created and performed songs that keep the Haiti story out front. Tuesday, January 12, 2010, a 7-point earthquake hit Haiti. Days of aftershock followed. 3 million people were affected. Over 250,000 homes collapsed or were damaged. An estimated 230,000 people died, 300,000 injured, and 1 million left homeless. And relatives and loved ones not there, left with heartaches.
Get up, get up, get up, get up, yeah!
The Holy Yours Band is extremely sensitive to this story because their member, James Trazile, a student at Lakeland College, is also a native Haitian, and James was one of those left with an aching heart. Orphaned at 15, and now this earthquake has taken more of his family. Things were not good in Haiti before the earthquake.
And now it's way worse. It's sad to, you don't have a home. My house, where I used to live is completely destroyed. Everything is gone. So it's sad to go back to a place that you call home, but there's no home to go to. It's just not a good, feeling of going home. Because home means a place where you can feel that everybody is there for you and you want to have all this fun with your friends. But the only sense of home is the family. The people who survived the earthquake, those people are my heroes.
The day of the earthquake, Trazile was leaving class and happened to stop in front of a television.
I saw Wycliffe talking about Haiti. I was like, what's going on? And I was watching CNN and the headline says, Haiti earthquake. Oh, I just couldn't believe it. And I tried to call my family and I couldn't reach them. So at that point I was completely thoughtless. The first person I talked to after the earthquake was my cousin, Ernso. And he told me that he was on top of the roof when the earthquake was playing his guitar, when the earthquake hit. And all the houses around his house were collapsing.
Have you talked to any of your relatives since then?
Yes, I've been talking to him a lot.
How are they surviving?
It's pretty hard in Haiti right now. Everything is expensive, but they're surviving somehow. I'm not sure how exactly. I'm not sure if I was in Haiti right now how I'd be surviving, but they're trying to do their best and to stay alive. I think that's the most important thing.
Josue Michel, Trazile's cousin, was teaching outside of Port-au-Prince when the earthquake hit. He had to run from a second-floor building. The first thing he did was try to contact family and then try to get home. What did you see?
Actually, when we were about 20 miles to Port-au-Prince, we've seen the roads, they're all broken. And we've seen people, a lot of people walking from Port-au-Prince, walking from far, 30 miles, trying to go away, trying to leave Port-au-Prince, but they couldn't find any transportation. They just walk. And I heard them talking about losing families, losing. It was very sad to hear someone say, "Oh man, I've lost them. My 2 kids are died. My 2 kids are dead, and I lost my husband. I lost my wife, and and a lot of people under the rubble. It was so painful, and seeing someone dying in front of you, some were just dying. It was so emotional, when you see all those dead bodies and you try to call your family, and all you get is the people you're calling is not available. I'm like, what the heck is that? And just started crying, get nervous. Then when I got to see my family, and you cry, and because you couldn't stand it.
Michel said it was beyond imagination what he saw that day. He said help is there and they're doing the best they can. Here in Wisconsin, James Trazile has started a campaign entitled Get Up for Haiti to keep people informed of what help is being given and how much more is needed.
If we could just pause for a second and think about the people in Haiti, and I think just thinking about him is a great thing. So my plans are to get the words out there any way I can through my music, and raise funds, partner with different organizations to get the word out there to the world, to tell the people it's not over yet. The people are still struggling in Haiti.
From under the rubble, man, it's so awful. Can you imagine losing everything that you fought for, losing everyone that you cared for? Oh, oh.
Before the earthquake hit, I talked to my cousin, and then the next morning, I couldn't reach him. And that's pretty much the idea of the song, Tomorrow is a Million Miles Away. You never know what's coming after tomorrow. So make sure you tell the people next to you that you love them.
Find a way to help, to rebuild their nation, the poorest nation and the Western Hemisphere. Please help Haiti.
And we're now joined by Dr. Patrick Bellegarde-Smith, who lost a number of family members in the earthquake. Dr. Bellegarde-Smith, welcome back to Black Nouveau, sir.
I'm glad to be back.
Dr. Bellegarde-Smith, first and foremost, how's retirement life treating you?
Wonderful. I love it. I'm busier than ever.
Okay. How is your family doing in Haiti?
As well as can be expected. Not much has changed in the last 8 months or so. And so, but I am in touch with them on a regular basis. And they're doing okay, all things considered.
Based on your conversation with them, what are the greatest needs in Haiti?
The greatest needs right now is to undo the damage and to pick up the rubble. And nothing has been done since January. So we are talking about perhaps 2% of the rubble that has been picked up. But then again, the money is lacking. And the monies that were promised by the international community have never arrived. So the government does not have the means to undo that damage as quickly as possible.
What do you think we can do to change that?
Well, for one thing, the United States had promised $1 billion, and it is stuck in Congress. The Senate and the House have not done anything about that yet. Of course, they've been busy elsewhere. But this is not unusual because this has happened also in previous disasters. For instance, when the U.S. invaded Grenada in 1983 under President Reagan, they were promised hundreds of millions of dollars for rebuilding what essentially the U.S. has just destroyed. They never saw the money since 1983. Nicaragua, the same. So I'm not terribly surprised. We think about other things and we move on.
Let's be more specific. Why aren't you surprised?
Because it's been the pattern in terms of the United States. At first, the attention is on the country. and people are thinking about it. The news media is focused on Haiti. And then, of course, several weeks later, we have an earthquake in Chile. We have another one in Taiwan. We have another earthquake in Turkey. So Haiti is off the news. That's essentially what it is.
Based on your conversations with your relatives once again, are the locals taking rebuilding into their own hands?
Well, people have done what they can with the meager resources that they have. And some of these individuals are still living in buildings that are not safe and secure. And that there's a danger there. Because it does seem that the earthquake was not as violent as it should have been. And so they expect that within now and 30 years from now, there will be another massive one. And that will be perhaps when the rebuilding has taken place, so we would have to rebuild again. But this disaster was not a natural disaster, it was a man-made disaster. For instance, recently, the last couple of weeks, New Zealand has had a massive earthquake, more powerful than that of Haiti. Nobody died, where we had about 250,000 people dying. And it is simply that the building codes that the Haitian government has had in place since the 1930s at least were not respected. So as the cities are rebuilt, we have to adhere to those codes.
When we last spoke, you were thinking about going back to Haiti. Did you do so?
I have not been able to do so. It's my own, I have difficulties along those lines. I have had recurring nightmares about the situation, about being there and looking at buildings I used to know very well as a child. Last nightmare was about being in the school I attended for many, many years and seeing it completely destroyed. I have to go back, I know that, but I'm taking my time.
What should we as Americans be doing right now?
This is difficult to know because the needs are tremendous. And there are a number of U.S. organizations on the ground that have done excellent work. Partners in Health, for instance, has been for a long time, even before the earthquake, training Haitians alongside American workers to do all kinds of things in the area of health. And they're going to build a massive teaching hospital in the central part of the country, which is less affected by earthquakes. And the person in charge of that is Dr. James Trazile from Harvard University, who is the second in command in terms of the United Nations in Haiti. And the first in command is former President Bill Clinton. So those two have been working together. We need to really keep informing ourselves about what's going on there because it's very, very significant. And if you go back in the past, certainly, over the last 200 years, Haiti was prominent in the minds of African Americans, very, very prominent, even to the point where some of the most prestigious slave revolts that occurred in the U.S. were inspired by the slave revolts in Haiti.
Dr. Smith, Bellegarde-Smith, excuse me, is there a feeling that this upcoming election will make a difference? Briefly.
Yes, very briefly. President René Préval has been unable to, he's been paralyzed as it were, and he's admitted that. And he's leaving the entire job to the person who succeeds him. And there are more than a dozen people who are running for office. The elections will be held at the very end of November, November 28th, and it remains to be seen what can be done at that point. But certainly the political parties over there are gearing up in terms of their own platform, in terms of rebuilding the country itself.
Dr. Patrick Bellegarde-Smith, thank you for joining us again, sir.
I'm glad to be here.
Earlier this year, we introduced you to Tommy Walls, the young man who was selected as Milwaukee's Youth of the Year for the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Milwaukee. Here's a brief reminder.
Okay, so then I got the 7.
I thought every child had drugs in their house. I thought every child had what I had. You know, I thought I was an ordinary child. But when I got here, you know, it felt like people are saying please, people are saying thank you. People are telling me that, hey, you dropped some money. People are just manners. You know, you see it on TV, but for me, I thought, oh, that's fake. I don't really.
This is Tommy Walls, this year's Northwestern Foundation Youth of the Year for the Boys and Girls Clubs of Milwaukee. This is the highest honor a Boys and Girls Club member can receive. The challenges Walls has had to overcome, hard work, and his positive outlook on life garnered him this award. One challenge coming from a different type of background.
The schools, well, from the middle school experience, the schools in Detroit are basically a get in, get out. Get in, get out. Here is get in, know what you want to do, have a relationship with the teachers if you need something to fall back on when you get to college, and then you get out. So it's the in-between pieces that really matters. What's going on when you're actually in the school, not just come to my class, get the work done, and graduate. You know, it was more of a come to my class, know the students, know me, know why I want you to succeed and graduate.
Oh, can I freestyle? Let me freestyle.
Tommy overcame his home life challenges, his mother in Detroit who he misses, and his father who motivates him from prison.
We write back and forth, and even though, you know, throughout my high schooling, he left when I was about 8. And so ever since then, he explained to me, I know I can't be there, but I'm gonna help you regardless, you know. I'm gonna write you back and forth, give you keynotes. Every time you become a man or you become successful, I'm gonna tell you what to do. So he actually raised me in prison. So for those who think that, you know, the men that are in jail aren't really thinking about things that are on the outside that they really care about, is not true. They care about everything. And the letter to him is treasure. And so if I can give him that treasure and he can give me the little piece of advice to make me a better man, then I'm all right with that.
Do you still communicate with him?
I do communicate with him. We had a time where we didn't talk because he was going through his transition and he just got moved. But I talked to him a couple days ago and I told him about this interview. And he told me to, you know, stay strong, you know, and keep him in mind.
Tommy went on to become Wisconsin's Youth of the Year, as well as a finalist in the national competition this past summer. He is currently a freshman at Marquette University.
October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and the Sisters Network is sponsoring its 3rd annual Gift for Life Block Walk to help educate our community about the disease. Joining us from the Milwaukee chapter of the Sisters Network are Phyllis Holder and Bonnie Anderson. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bonnie, let's talk a little bit about the block walk. What's going to happen that day?
Well, all too often, I think that our community are left behind when it comes to education. So what we do is we pick a neighborhood of African Americans or just underserved population. This time we're going to target the population around 24th and Valete. And we're going to go door to door and educate people, give them educational information, and then invite them over to Martin Luther King Recreational Center for more educational information. We'll have all breast health programs there. We're going to have after breast cancer diagnosis, Wisconsin Breast Cancer Coalition, and we're also going to have other vendors with educational information.
Phyllis, who is the event for?
The event is for the community. The event is for breast cancer survivors. The event is for children. It's for everyone because we're facing a crisis. And we have to stop the silence about breast cancer and about family histories, because all too often in this work that we do, we find out that people don't know what, you know, their grandmother or grandfather died of. And, you know, some of this can have a genetic background, and so there are things that you can do to decrease your risk and to prepare, you know, and guard yourself. And so it's just so important for people to know and to strive for living healthy. So it's for everybody, including the kids, because we'll have Chef Deborah do healthy cooking, and her focus this year is going to be on cancer-preventing soups. And we'll have other exercise and health-related producing workshops during this event. We call it the walk that's not a walk. The walk that's not a walk because it's not a 5K. You'll be escorting a breast cancer survivor, helping that survivor go door to door to a designated number of doors to get the word out about breast cancer. That Black women die more often, even though we're diagnosed less than any other group, and that there's free
mammogram ability here in the city. And so there's no reason, if you're of the criteria, that you should be missing a mammogram. And you should be checking yourself. You should be doing self-breast exams. So we go door to door as the face of surviving, but we want you to know in advance so you don't have to have our stories. And we take a goodie bag and invite everybody back. So the volunteers, the people who register for this free event, they actually are doing community service. So they're not like walking to walk. They are helping us take the bags and the information and take a designated set of doors and go do the work to knock on the doors and deliver the bags and the message by script. And then come on back and like Marcus Adams will be playing during the event. We have food. All people who register and come volunteer get a free t-shirt while the supply lasts. And the only thing is that the outcome is that you leave knowing more about breast cancer than when you came.
And what day will this take place, and how can people get more information about the event?
The date of the event is the third Saturday in October every year, so just pencil it on in. So October 16th, and we're going to be at the Dr. Martin Luther King Community Center on 15th and Valete. And 9 a.m. is on-site registration, early breakfast, but you can register and get more information at sistersforcure.org. You can register online, and that's sisters plural, number 4, cure.org.
Thank you, ladies, for joining us.
Thank you.
And that wraps up this edition of Black Nouveau.
Remember, in the coming week, do something to expand your world. Good night.
Good night.